All right, we're live. Stephanie, take it away.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk About It, Steph. Oh, it's been a crazy week. Let me tell you, I hate Mondays. But we're gonna push through it and get through it. I did. And then, y'all, guess what? We have rain. We have not seen rain in this side of town in over 35 days. So we actually have rain. It rained all the way from Arlington to all the way to North Lake. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And the sun was out. Imagine that. Heavy rain and the sun is out. Now, the old folks used to say, if the sun is out and it's raining, that means the devil's beating his wife. Well, I guess the devil must be doing some serious damages for that sun to be that bright out today. But other than that, I'm happy that we finally got some sprinkles, so maybe you'll get some rain today too. But we have lots to talk about today. Um, Fighting for democracy, y'all. And Dale's gonna be on here, my co-host. I just love it when Dale comes on because we come up with some interesting stuff to talk about. So let me bring Dale on here.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Steph.
Great, good to see you, Dale.
Jealous of the rain. Very jealous of the rain. It's been very, very dry over here. Been pretty
Hey,
much drought conditions, really.
Dale, I'm glad I didn't go wash my car.
Yeah, it's interesting. I live right by Louisville Lake, and you can really tell when we're in a drought because you can see the level of the lake go up and down. And there are
Uh-huh.
certain parts where sometimes you can actually see the ground of Louisville Lake, which is not that normal. Not that normal. But this is
Wow.
around the time of year that happens. This is the time of year where we get the triple digits. This is the type of year where you'll sometimes see the bottoms of these lakes because Texas is notoriously flat. And so while we have some lakes, a lot of them are known to be very shallow. The larger the lake you have, the more surface area of a lake that you have, the more quickly it's going to evaporate. And so that's
Oh,
why we sometimes actually do see a little bit of lake effect around here in Texas. But also, it becomes an issue when it comes to water scarcity because while we have some of these big lakes, they look big, they're shallow. So we do run into water scarcity issues usually around this time of year. Uh, that's always been a thing, even before the data centers, mind you. But I'll get off my soapbox and bring it back to you. So, Steph, what did you want to talk about? What's the first thing, rather, you want to talk about? Because there's a lot to go over, for sure.
thank you, Dale. You had gave me time to put my lip gloss on. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start at. It's like it's so much stuff that's going on to where I know I can't make this stuff up. So everybody who knows or who don't know, Abraham Lincoln Navy ship, we had soldiers out there in the water that was not getting the proper tools they needed. They weren't getting proper food. The living condition was really horrible. And I'm quite sure there were more things going on than what they're allowed to say. But there were also 7 sailors that were trying to commit, you know. So thank God that didn't happen. But they are living in some bad conditions. Well, the ship's supposed to be coming back, and that's probably going to take another 2 months for them to come back. But before they can come to land, get on land, they were told to sign an NDA before they get off that ship because they don't want the soldiers, and y'all know who they is. They don't want the soldiers to talk about their experience on Abraham Lincoln. So not only is Abraham Lincoln having issues, there are other military people complaining about their issues as well too. So I'm like this. I'm gonna keep it real. Pete Hegseth should not be over the military whatsoever. I have never, ever, ever in my life ever heard of our military folks being mistreated like this, except for during Vietnam when they came back home and how the soldiers were met. But here it is 2026. You would think that they would make sure that the soldiers were fed, they had good living conditions, they wouldn't out, especially the ones that's out on the sea, that they're not out there longer than what they're supposed to be. Get them time enough to get off the water and kind of rebalance. Of course, there are some people that probably never served in the military would say, well, you know what, that's what they signed up for. No, they didn't. They did not sign up to have raw sewage flooding out in the bathrooms and molding everything. Because if that's the case, maybe you should go live on that ship, be there for 9 to 11 months, and let's see how you do. I don't think your mental state is going to be stable. So with that
Yeah.
part right there, Dale, I think that when they do get back, because you know they're going to sign an NDA, because they want to go see their family. But what I think needs to be done is they need to have some mental health care. Every last one of them going to need to see somebody. And I know sometimes the military doesn't like their soldiers to go and speak to somebody, but that's one of the reasons why a lot of them have PTSD. I can't imagine being on a ship that long and not being able to go and port where they need to because they can't port there because of you know who is causing all the drama. So I don't know, Dale. What do you think?
Yeah, no, they were put into an impossible situation. First of all, they've been out there for a record amount of time. That's abnormal to be out that long. Also, they could not resupply because they're not exactly in friendly territory, to say the least. It's a type of failure. The fish rots from the head, as they say. It's no one's fault except for this administration. The administration put them out there. What they should have done is replaced this ship with the now ship that's coming now to replace them. It should have happened a long time ago.
Right.
So, I mean, well, to be honest, to be fair, even before that, we are in an optional war right now. We are in an optional war. We are in the war in the Middle East again. There was a good joke by Rosie O'Donnell. She recently came on television to late night. And she said, yeah, you know, it's been a while since I've been back in the States, and now that I am, I see that the United States is in a war in the Middle East and has an incompetent president. So I guess not much has changed. Of course, she's referring to the George W. Bush administration and how we had, you know, the whole Middle East thing there. But it's a damn shame, and it's so ironic to think that the right pushes so hard for what they call freedom of speech absolution, but yet they're fine with NDAs, right? That kind of goes against their whole concept of freedom of speech. And I really do feel like if we can flip seats in this upcoming November election, we need to get some Democrats in there and some committees to put an investigation into this. If there's any way that, regardless of the NDA, if there would be any way to get some of these individuals to testify to Congress what happened in that situation. Because this is not something that should just be swept under the rug. This is actually a national security issue. Because if China sees like, oh, like this is the limit to our strength, then other countries may become a little bit more emboldened, right? Because we only have so many resources, and this level of, and it does make us look weak. It makes us look weak.
I
And
agree.
the other countries that are against us, they're going to see that, and they may be emboldened by that. So this is also a national security issue. And I can understand that some of the higher ups in the current administration might use that same argument in order to say, in order to be in favor of the NDA. But let's be real here. It's just they're trying to save face, right? So it's a situation we shouldn't even be in. We shouldn't even be in this war in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, I think I might be preaching to the choir on that one, though.
Listen, you know what? I think a lot of people are now understanding that we shouldn't be in war or whatever this is that we're in, conflict or money grab. I don't even know what to call it. And here's the crazy thing, some of the generals, some of the people that are on top that did not go through anything that any of the soldiers or any of the generals, the real generals, went through, they were appointed to be over specific things, you know? And my thing is, I hope and I pray that everybody, as Donald Trump likes to make it sound bad to be woke, I hope everybody's wake up, register to vote. If you already registered to vote, check and see if you're legit. If you moved, you need to go change, go update your status. Know your status before you go there. Know your
Tell that to
status.
Ken Paxton.
Dale, I ain't fooling with you today. But yeah, yeah, yeah. He don't even know where he belongs. Is he Denton or he's Colin? What is he? But
He lives now in Frisco in the Denton County side, so right around here, where I live at least.
wow, you know we don't want him, right? We really don't.
Yeah, it's just even more ironic because he essentially lives in Denton County, but he's registered to vote in Collin County. And I can understand, he's going through a divorce, right? So I can understand him separating from his wife, maybe getting another location. But the fact that you're the attorney general and you must know better, like he has to know better. He should have re-registered by now, like a
He
while ago.
You remember the young lady? I can't think of her name right now. The young lady who's been fighting for years because she voted in Arlington and she wasn't supposed to vote because she was a convicted felon or whatever. And she thought that she served her time and did everything she was supposed to do. And they allowed her to vote. Well, they put her in jail and then she got out of jail, and there's still the AD out here in Arlington is still trying to mess with her, put her back in jail. So people like Ken Paxton, the guy doesn't do anything right. He really doesn't. Everything that he does is most likely going to be illegal. It just is. So who would think? I wouldn't pass it that he would sit up there and say, "Oh, somebody forged his name." Who would want to do that?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's cartoonish, really, is what it is. To the point where I'm not sure if you saw the James Tellerico commercial where they talk about how Ken Paxton stole another guy's pen. Apparently, it was a very expensive pen. It was engraved by some sort of special machine. The guy is downright petty, and if he was held accountable to a fraction of the amount in which he goes after other people, he would be in jail right now. One of the more ironic things I'm remembering, I I should pull this clip and maybe present it sometime so I can remember it. But it's an old clip that did not age well. It is a clip of Jared Patterson, my state house representative, hardcore Republican. The Texas Tribune ranked everyone in the state house from left to right ranked them from left and right based upon their voting records. And he's the number one most to the right. And this guy was on an interview with WFAA, and he was talking about how Ken Paxton is probably going to flee the country because they're in the middle of the impeachment process at this point in the timeline.
Okay.
And he says, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ken Paxton's going to take all this money and go and live on some sort of rich island somewhere because we're coming after him." It's just so bizarre to see the number one most ranked Republican talk about how Ken Paxton is in so much trouble to the point where he believes he's going to flee the country. It's just ironic that it's so ironic to sometimes see people predict what the future will be and then get to that future and be like, "Ooh, boy, I wish you were right, but nope." It is not the way that you think. Deeply
Yeah.
ironic.
Well, I'm quite
But
sure with all this mess that's going on over here, he's probably gonna flee the country just to evade and make sure he don't get any. They indict him for something, but we gotta flip Texas seats. The House had him, and I'm glad to see that there were some Republicans that were willing to step up and impeach him. But that Senate, they decided to not press charges. And I'm like, can you imagine being his wife and sitting there and listening to all the disgusting things that he did?
it is quite wild. It's
Yeah,
quite wild to think that his wife is a senator at the same time.
exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
even more wild to think that she did not divorce him at that time. She divorced him later, and it was much later. And her statement clearly didn't say it directly, but it was pretty clear in her statement that it was due to cheating, infidelity. So it tells you, did he do it again? Was there another woman? And now, ironically, we see him traveling around with his mistress. Right? He was actually it was a video or a photograph. I can't remember. I think it was a video.
He had a video of
And
her.
it was. I'm not sure if you saw the video. It was so weird because Ken's packed. His eyes don't quite line up right. And so, like, when he looked at the camera of the person recording him, you could literally see one eye is looking at the camera and the other eye looks like it's looking at his mistress because they're just kind of pointed in different directions. I mean, his eyes have always been like that. It's just so. Sometimes politics just gets weird and funny, right? And this is kind of one of those situations.
Y'all, if you have crooked eyes that wander off, we're sorry. We're not talking about you. We are straight up talking about Ken Paston because he has wandering eyes. Not only physically, he has wandering eyes. And I'm like, his mistress, you better not trust him. He gonna cheat on you too. But
Yeah, it's quite wild.
yeah, it's wild. It's wild. You ready to go to the next topic?
Sure.
All
I
right.
know that we want to talk about, trying to protect democracy, and that includes a lot of different things between voting centers, between the Save Act, etc. So take it away.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, of course, you know that we have voting center issues in the DFW area. We have, we're over in Dallas, last primary, the GOP chair decided he wanted to switch things up on them and have them to vote in their precinct. Well, Dallas has been voting countywide for years. I don't even know how long, but it's been for years to where the people don't even know where their precincts are at. If you're a precinct chair, then you know exactly where the precincts are at in Dallas. So, of course, he up under pressure because it really made it bad for a lot of people. So they wind up putting so much heat up on him till he wind up stepping down. So let's put a pin in that. So we go over here back to Tarrant County again. Tim O'Hara is at it again. But you know what? That Alicia Simmons is staying on his butt. She is on him. She is on him. So here's the deal. Tarrant County has over 300 plus voting locations out there, right? Well, Tim O'Hara and his friend, I don't know his name, but y'all know him. He decided, oh yeah, let's cut down Tarrant County from 300 plus voting locations. Let's drop it down to 199. I'm like, get out of here. Do you know how big Tarrant County is? Tarrant County is one of the largest county in Texas.
Yeah, it's
You
about 2 million
cannot.
people. It's about double the population of Denton County.
Yes, Tarrant County is huge. I mean, huge. And you're gonna try to reduce it down. Well, there were many candidates and many community leaders that came out to go speak on that. What did this man do? He started kicking them out. If they said something that seemed negative or hurt his little feelings, he was kicking them out. Kicking them out. And dragged one of the pre what was he, a house member? He was a house member, and dragged him out, threw him in the van, arrested him for disturbance. So I'm quite sure he's going to have to pay a hefty fine. I doubt if he served time. It's ridiculous if he do, but it is Tarrant County. That's why Tarrant County, it's so important for y'all to vote. And I can say that those precinct chairs out there in Tarrant County, they are busting their butts out there to get him out. So I hope y'all can get him out and get people out to go vote. But then you go to Denton.
Yeah, and actually, before we move on past that, it's really important to vote early. And here's why Tim O'Hare wants to reduce the number of polling locations. Statistically, it's unfortunate, but statistically, most people, about half rather, but a little bit more than half, so arguably most people, vote on the last day to vote. They do not. Most people don't vote early. When we look at the total number of people who vote during the total long 2 week early voting period, the total across those 2 weeks, we're seeing about a little bit more than that same number vote on the last day to vote. Imagine all of the people who voted during their 2 week early voting period all compressed into one day. This produces tons of lines, right? And so when you cut down on the number of voting locations, that produces much longer lines. And we also all know that the rush hour time, if you will, when people get off work, because a lot of people have 9 to 5 jobs, they're going to be voting around the same time. Mm-hmm. And so it puts people in the following situation where when you cut down on the number of polling locations, you're increasing the length of those lines, particularly on the last day to vote, particularly as people get right off from work. And it produces long lines and people get frustrated. Some people will just go home, or if you're in a current situation like we have in Denton County, where you don't have county-wide voting, if you show up to the wrong voting location, then that's it, right? I mean, you're probably not going to have enough time to make it to another polling location, especially if they reduce the number of polling locations. So that's their tactic. It's straight up election interference, is what it is.
Yep, I agree. And I can tell you from driving from Arlington, I got there around about 5 something, left there. It took me from maybe 5:30 from where I was at to almost, what did I jump online? 6:55. So if you're working in Arlington and you're trying to find your precinct over here in the North Lake area, you're going to be late. You're not going to make it there in time. So that's why Adele is saying, and I'm saying, and so many other people are saying, go vote early. You can vote anywhere in Denton County on early voting, but unfortunately, when it comes down to election day, they don't care about people that's working or people who have transportation. They feel like, well, you should have did it during early voting. A lot of folks don't know about early voting because it's not published out there about them going to go early vote. And maybe we should do a better job in telling people go early vote. As much as election, people, especially our older generation, they like going to go vote early on election day. They like that. When they want to bring their grandkids or their child up there to go vote on election day, and this is their first time, they like the excitement of going to go vote on election day. It's tradition for them. But unfortunately, here in Denton County, we don't have that. We have people that wants to stay the way that they are. And actually, it's just one person that's holding it up because Denton County Democrat county chair is all for county-wide voting. But on the other side, she don't like it. I don't know what her reasons are, but she don't like it. And I'm like this. If y'all know who your GOP is in Denton County, y'all need to put pressure on her because it does not affect just Democrats. It affects everybody who has the right to go vote. Everybody. We have very safe elections, I think, and they need to just have the opportunity to go vote anywhere they want to. But she's putting all her toes down and saying, no, we're not doing it. So I think she needs to be changed out.
Yeah, yeah, she's definitely needs to be swapped out. She's not going to budge on her policy decisions on that. When she was running for office, it's one of the things she ran on, and also there's videos of her on the Denton County Commissioner's Court long before she was the chair. I'm talking about Melinda Preston, by the way, the Denton County Republican Party chair. Before she was the chair, and she was just a precinct chair, she would be advocating to basically against voting centers. And back then, she was even advocating to get rid of the electronic voting tabulators. She would want things counted by hand, which is
You don't want to do that.
insane and also too expensive. I know the argument from the other side of the aisle is to say, oh, well, the machines can be hacked. And the counter argument to that is to say, well, maybe machines can be hacked, but humans can be biased. Not to mention the other counter argument to that is to say they can't be hacked. They're not connected to the internet. They're not
They're
connected
not.
to the internet. The check-in computers, they are connected to a network so that when you check in, a signal can go out and inform the other polling locations to not let you vote a second time. That check-in machine is connected to a network of some kind, but the actual electronic voting tabulators themselves are not. They're not connected to any network at all. So
None
the
whatsoever.
claim that they can be hacked is ludicrous. Not to mention, there's a safety mechanism that we have in Denton County in particular, is that when you go and vote, there is a random precinct that is selected at random by lottery, and an audit is done at that randomly chosen precinct, and they do count. In that audit, they do count every vote by hand, and then they make sure that that number matches up with the number on the electronic voting tabulator. And Melinda Preston knows that because she's been involved in those audits in the past. So it is quite frustrating, but it's why we need to flip the county commissioner's court. We got 3 positions up right now for the Denton County Commissioner's Court. There's Stephanie here, our good friend Kansas Venezuela. They're both running for county commissioners. And then we have Nick Pappas, who is running for county judge. If we can flip those 3 seats, we flip the court entirely. And if we do that with a majority vote of the court, we should be able to override the Republican county chair and finally get us voting centers. But we're not going to be able to do that unless we flip all 3 seats. We need to flip all 3 of them.
Yeah.
These are because there are 5 members of the county commissioners court, and 3 of them are up for re-election right now. They're all Republicans right now. All 5 of them are Republicans. But if we can flip those 3 seats, we'll have a blue majority and finally get what we need. And to be real here, the Republican county commissioners, they, in their hearts, they know that it would be better to have county-wide voting on election day. They know it. They know it. And I think they feel that way. But I think they're too scared of their own party. I know one of my friends from Toastmasters, Patrick, he was like in a private conversation with one of the commissioners, just like off the record type of thing. And he's like, hey, man, just be honest. Like, why won't you vote for this? Why won't you vote for county-wide voting on election day? He's like, yeah, I mean, I want to, but if I do that, I'll get primaried, was his response. So that was
Isn't that crazy?
interesting. Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong. I think he's not wrong. But
Yeah, they
apparently,
will get primary, but I'm like, if you're doing the right thing for the people, then the people will back you up. At the end of the day, Dell, Denton County has been ran. That commissioner court has been ran for over 20 years with same group of folks, Republicans. Nobody else, an independent or a Democrat, has ever been sitting in that seat. And it's time for change. And people, the way how Denton County is blowing up right now, you definitely want to make sure that you have countywide voting. It's essential that we have that because we got new homes all over the place. Can you imagine them all going to one precinct on election day? Oh, it's going to be crazy. But
Yeah,
of
we have a
course,
massive population spike here in Denton County. We just passed, I believe it's we have 1 million people now in Denton County. The same thing with Collin County. There's 1
yeah,
million over there. And to put things into perspective, in uh, Dallas County, there's 2 million, so it's like twice the population. And in Tarrant County as well, it's 2 million, so that's twice the population. But our population in Denton County is spiking, particularly in the northern and northeast Denton County area along Highway 380. There's been lots of construction, lots of new houses being built, and lots of apartments being built. So our population is definitely spiking, and we're going
oh
to
yeah,
need to have more voting locations, not a stagnant amount, not less and not a stagnant amount. We're going to need more as our population grows.
yes. Because over here in the Northwest area, we definitely gonna need that. Those poor election workers are not gonna be able to handle the tsunami that's coming their way on election day. But we're gonna tell everybody to go vote, go vote, go vote early, go vote early, go vote early. Y'all hear me? Go vote early. Go make sure right now while you have time, go look up where you're supposed to go vote at. Go look at your precinct. Make sure everything is updated. Go check the status of your registration card because over 1 million people have been sponged. So we want to make sure that you're ready. You ready to go vote and there's no issue because there have been candidates that said that even they were sponged. They y'all just
Yeah,
go do the
there's
right thing. Go check your status and register to vote if you haven't. Your kids is 18 years old. Get them registered to vote and go vote.
yeah,
That's all you have to do. Just go vote.
yeah. Go and again also check to make sure that your status, even if you have registered to vote, as Stephanie mentioned, there's a large push to purge the voting rolls. There is a news article by WFAA that was actually interviewing our elections administrator, and I'm blanking on his name now. He shows up to the Denton County Commissioner's Court from time to time. But he was being interviewed by WFAA because he was getting hundreds of emails every day claiming that there are some people who are dead, who are moved away, who are registered to vote here, trying to purge our voting rolls. And WFAA looked into this, and they kind of found out it was kind of coming from one organization that doesn't even live here in the state. That essentially there's these groups of people who would just pick names and just kind of claim like, oh, this person's dead. Just make claims, and just send them. And our elections administrator was getting hundreds of emails a day. And now, in this day and age of AI, I do fear for AI using something like the VAN system to figure out, say, oh, is this person a Democrat or Republican? Has this person voted in Democrat primaries? And just make up a BS email and send it to the administrator to claim, like, oh, Dale Frey died. You need to take him off the voting roll. Because when they make these kind of claims, it is the responsibility of the elections administrator to, look into it and confirm. Maybe send a mail out, a letter, a snail mail letter out, and say, "Hey, are you alive or are you dead?" But if I'm not checking my mail and I miss that mail, or my wife sees it and thinks it's spam or something and tosses it away, and they don't get a response, they may think that I'm actually dead. And so there is a large attempt in organizations out there that are trying to purge our voting rolls. And it's real dirty stuff, but the way to counter that is to reconfirm, even though you've registered to vote, go onto the site, Secretary of State website, and confirm that you still are registered to vote. Make sure that you still are, because there's a lot of dirty tricks and a lot of people playing games out there. It's really unfortunate, but it's so important because if we allow these tactics to beat us, they're going to continue to use those tactics. It's only going to get worse and worse as time goes on. With that said, it looks like Stephanie just gave me the spotlight, so I guess I'll have to keep going. When it comes to other voting suppression stuff, I want to talk about the SAVE Act real quick. The SAVE Act is a little confusing to some people because there's actually 3 different bills that some people call the SAVE Act. 2 of them are actually stuck in committee in the House, in the Congressional House right now. And the third one, the SAVE Act, is a third SAVE Act that's stuck in the U.S. Senate right now. And that one is problematic in the sense of it will mitigate young adults from voting. And here's what I mean by that. I know that some people talk about saying, hey, there's a SAVE Act that will prevent women from voting who have changed their names when they got married. That's true. That particular one is stuck in the committee in the Congressional House right now. The one that's in the Senate right now, the one that could potentially pass, makes it so that your driver's license is not good enough to vote. And that particularly targets young adults, and it particularly targets those who get purged off our voting rolls. So let's say, for example, you're a young adult, you get a driver's license at the age of 16, and you expect to be able to register to vote 2 years later after you have your driver's license. Should the SAVE Act pass, which could potentially happen, that will not be the case. You'll be told that no, you're going to need a passport. The same thing for anyone who got purged off the voting roll. So you realize, oh, I got purged off the voting roll somehow. Now I need to re-register to vote. You walk in with your driver's license because that's what you used last time when you registered to vote. You'll be told, no, I'm sorry, due to the SAVE Act, now you're going to need a passport. A passport that, by the way, costs at least $150, if not more. It's a unconstitutional poll tax, and it's this particular SAVE Act directly targets unregistered voters, young adults with driver's licenses, and those who get purged from our rolls. So that's why it's my personal mission as who's running for the Denton County Clerk position, who oversees the passport offices in Denton County, to one, make sure that you get access to a passport easily, and two, I'm going to beg the County Commissioners Court for financial support in order to socialize the cost of a passport. That's why it's so important, because we're seeing dirty tricks here. And this version of the SAVE Act is actually not the worst one. Right? The one that will prevent married women who've changed their names from voting, that's even worse. But that's their next step. That's their next step. That's the next SAVE Act that's in the works. So there's a huge push for voter suppression here. And we need to do everything we can to stand up against it.
I agree, Dale. I totally agree. We got to fight for this. You know, I know the topic y'all probably saying the hate in America, but today we're talking about saving democracy in America, because the one thing you don't want to do is to have it to a point to where nobody can go and vote. Only if you're married, your husband will be the only person that's able to vote. And then whoever your representative is the person that'll be voting for that region. So it's all kind of weird stuff, I would say, that they're trying to do is to stop people from voting. And of course we all know is voter suppression, straight up. It's almost like we're going backwards instead of going forward. We're going back to the Jim Crow area. I was not born down in that during that time, but I have heard many stories from family members that said it was awful, especially when they didn't want you, especially if you were black, they didn't want you voting, so they would do everything they possibly could do to make you pay for it, or have you going through all kind of loops and hoops and stuff to keep you from voting. And then with women, they definitely didn't want you. It was like you almost had to have permission from your husband to go vote. Folks, this is real stuff that's happening right now. You If you're a woman and you're married, I'm telling y'all, I told y'all this 2 years ago, and I'm gonna tell y'all now because it's true. They're trying to attack you by stripping you away of your power. You don't have control over your body anymore. So now to shut us up, they're gonna take away your right to vote. Y'all got to go out and go vote. We cannot tell y'all anymore any different ways. I wish I could. Go vote. Texas is not a red state, is a non-voting state. When we need y'all out there to go vote. Go vote. Go, and don't just vote for the top. because I know a lot of people like, oh, I'm gonna go vote for Jenna Hinojosa or the governor, lieutenant, and the AD. I'm going to stop there. No, go all the way down and flip it over, and it might be 2 pages. It might even be 3. Y'all look at everything. If you like me, start from the bottom and go all the way up, so that way you're not missing anybody. Go vote. Go vote. That's all we're asking you to do is go vote, because this is it. If we don't go and try to stand up for democracy right now, after this, I don't think we will be able to. We got to be able to flip these seats. We got to put Talarico as our next senator in Texas. We got to make sure that we have Gina Hinojosa as our governor. We got to make sure that we get Vicky Goodwin in as the lieutenant governor. We have to fix the issues that we have here in Texas, because Texas has been ran by Republicans for over 30 years, and they keep lying to us over and over and over again, telling us, I'm not going to cheat, but you're cheating. You sitting up here, you done brought the data centers in, and we're going to definitely have to talk about that at another time. You brought them in and told them, oh, you don't have to pay taxes. How the hell do a company not pay taxes, and then you expect the middle class and hey, rich people, you too, all of us have to go pay property taxes if you own a home, unless you got some kind of way where you're not paying taxes. But all of us have to pay taxes except for these data centers. Make that make sense. Go ahead, Dale. I see you got your graphic up there.
Yeah. I was going to say too that when it comes to saying that we really need people to vote all the way down the ballot, this was a little chart that I created. I was looking at the number of people. It might be hard to see on the screen. In fact, it's too hard for me to read right now myself. I should have pulled that up. But where you see at the top there, those top lines, that's the people who voted at the very top of the ballot. And you can see just how people don't go all the way down the ballot, right? Because of the wide range there. Here we go. I'm finally reading it. So the top 3 red ones you see there, those are like the total for the governor, the total for the lieutenant governor, the statewide and the county ones. And those are the first things that show up on the ballot. But then you look, I'm referring to the blue lines right now, because that's what we care about. We care about the Democrats. But if you look at the county clerk, for example, which is the bottom diamond one, the bottom most blue one, you can see that range of how many people did not go all the way down from the governor specifically down to the county clerk. And that's a real tell. Now, to put this into perspective, that top blue one there, the governor's race for Democrats in 2026, and this is the primary, by the way, that's 80,000 people voted for that. But if you look at the county clerk, for example, it's only about 61,000. So 61 minus 80, that's the range of people who did not go all the way down the ballot, at least in these last primaries. And that is a huge, huge detriment. That is a major difference. And is something that we really need to highlight and to basically say, hey, we really mean it when we say your vote counts, that you need to go all the way down the ballot. Never tell yourself that your vote doesn't matter, because the lower the turnout, the more of a difference your vote makes. So if you are seeing a lower turnout, your vote is actually making more of a difference. And it's not just the fact that you showed up at all to vote. I'm talking about the other races on your ballot. Like I was saying, like the 80,000 versus 60,000 people. That's 20,000 people. That's 20,000 people in Denton County, Democrats, who voted for the governor's race, but did not go down to the county clerk's race. 20,000 people. And it gets even worse for even the races that are lower on the ballot. So when we talk about voter turnout, it's not just about the fact that you showed up to vote. It's all the individual races on that ballot, because we are seeing a difference in turnout of who votes in the top of the ballot, and we can look at the difference in number of people who participated in the other races, and it's very clear. Like I said, in this last primary, 20,000 people only voted at the top and did not work their way down. And I tell you what, guys, that
That's scary.
20,000 people in races that are going to be very close here in Denton County, 20,000 people can be the difference of making a candidate win or lose, particularly in how close these races are in Denton County, and particularly that we have 1 million people, right, in our county. So vote all the way down the ballot. Take your time for it. Understand that we're all in pain right now. Gas prices are high. Grocery prices are up. Everyone's struggling. Take that rage. Take that rage that you have and use it to fill in every single bubble all the way down that ballot.
Man, you know what, Dale, I'm gonna do this for you. I know we had other subjects that we were going to talk about, but it's so very important that we discuss voting and protecting voting rights, because we're at the point right now. If we don't stand up and talk about it and try to protect the votes, we're not going to have it. They're going to do everything they possibly can do to make sure that you don't have the power to vote. And that's your civic duty, is to just go vote. That's all you have to do. But people are making it harder because they know how valuable your vote is. And they don't want change. That's why they keep getting voted in, and they tell you all these lies that, hey, we're going to fix this, we're going to fix the grid, we're going to fix the water, we're going to make sure your taxes are lower. I haven't seen my taxes lower yet. I'm waiting. But at least the seniors are being taken care of with the property taxes. I think they could do a better job with it, bring it down some more, and have it capped to where freeze it so they don't have to be forced out, taxed out of their homes. But it's a work in progress. That's why it's so important for us to make sure that we get out to go vote, and go vote blue. Go vote blue all the way down. And vote for
Yeah, as you
people.
mentioned that, we'll write this down for next time, because I know that we're like coming up to time.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the elderly. The WFAA had an article on how Meals on Wheels is being paused on the number of people that they are going to intake. So
Yeah.
they're not stopping their service. They're just not going to be accepting any more new applicants into Meals on Wheels, which is an organization that supports the elderly, particularly elderly individuals who physically cannot get themselves to the grocery store. So there's some things to talk about there when it comes to the County Commissioners Court, particularly because a good amount of funding for Meals on Wheels comes from the County Commissioners Court. But we'll talk about that next time. We'll have to write
Yeah.
that one down.
Yeah, write that down. We're going to talk about that next. So we're coming up on our time. We got 5 minutes to discuss anything. I'll go through real fast. Nolan Wells, we're going to keep saying something about Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells, they haven't found out what's going on with him whatsoever. Y'all keep his family in prayers, and hopefully that we can figure out what happened to him, because that's all that the mom wants, the family wants, is to know what happened to their son. Wouldn't you? But people out there harassing her. But that's all they want to know, is what happened to him. So we're going to move on to Camilla Anthony. Dale, you know more about that case?
Not much more. I know that at first we were happy that he got a new judge, but unfortunately, it seems that the case is not going to be retried. So he's been sentenced to, what is it, 35 years? Is that right?
Years, yeah. He's
Yeah.
gonna be
So
my
that,
age by the time he get out. I'm like,
yeah, it's
it's
unfortunate.
ridiculous.
I mean, that's not to say that other parts of life are unimportant, but it is probably one of the more important parts of life. That's when you build up your career. You try to get a home, and all that. And sorry for the background noise. My dogs are going nuts.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
why I'm
it's
laughing at your dogs.
yeah, they howl at sirens. So
Like, go ahead. What you were saying?
oh no, that's all I really have on that. It's just sad to see, you know. But
Two young men lost their life. Basically, it's over. I don't wish death on anyone, and I don't. That's a difficult subject, and there's a lot of things that's coming up about the twins and about Camilla Anthony. And at this point, all I can do is just pray for the family and hope that they come to some type of peace and the right thing wind up happening for Camilla Anthony, that he can get a reduced sentence, maybe probation or something like that, because both parties was wrong. Somebody wound up losing their life, or two people wound up losing their lives behind this. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I just want to tell y'all, please, if you're watching Let's Talk About It staff, please make sure that you like and share so we can continue on spreading the words about what's going on through our community and, of course, through this election period. We're going to be talking about even more stuff, and we're going to bring some more candidates on here so they can actually talk to the community and tell the people about why they're running, their whys. And I hope y'all just, it's hot outside. Drink plenty of water. And Dale, don't be jealous that I had rain.
I'm also going to plug this too before we sign off. This coming Friday, we have the happy hour for the Frisco Democratic Club. So if you live in you don't have to live in Frisco to come. If you just live in the general area, or you just want to swing on by to meet like-minded Democrats, you can go to friscodemocrats.org to find out more information. We have a happy hour this Friday. We always have candidates who show up, so you get to meet the candidates on your ballot. I bring a microphone and an amplifier, and I give them time to speak to introduce themselves. It's a good way to meet like-minded individuals and also candidates as well. So friscodemocrats.org. Hope to see you this Friday at Jake's Burgers and Beer in Frisco on Main Street at 6:30 p.m. And back to you, Steph.
Right. Thank you. Well, that's all I have until we meet again next week. Thank y'all for supporting this channel and continue on supporting us. And we'll see you next week. Y'all have a good night.